They raised you, and now it's their turn to be taken care of. Hi, I'm Rebecca Brayton, and welcome to WatchMojo.com. And today we're speaking with the two authors of Our Turn to Parent to learn more about elderly parent care. At what point should you begin to consider caregiving for your elderly parents?
Really at the beginning stage, it's in their active senior years. Sit down, start having a conversation with them. You can even mention perhaps things that have happened to friends or other family members where they're in a situation where all of a sudden they're in a medical crisis and they don't know what plans their parents have in place or what their wishes are. So having that conversation early is really a key thing.
I think that most of us don't recognize that we're caregiving very early on. In my situation, my 76-year-old mom was living with me, and Barbara's family, her dad 3 years ago was diagnosed with early Alzheimer's, and through our conversations, I realized that I was in no way prepared for what was going to be for my mom down the road.
Are there any warning signs for which we should be on the lookout?
One of the things we talk about in the book is food, which can be like a neutral topic for talking with your parents about it, but it involves a lot of things. It involves, going grocery shopping for the food, making sure they have food in the house, making sure that they're preparing it and they're cooking it properly and they're storing it properly. So having those small observations at the beginning can really help noticing when things are going to become more critical.
How do you go about changing the dynamic from child to caregiver?
Our turn to parent doesn't mean that your parents suddenly become children. Your role is not to step in and take control. You are actually taking on the characteristics of the best parent. You are their champion. You're helping them make the best decisions.
The way you treat your parents is the way other people are going to treat them when you're involved with the doctors and social services and other people around. When they see you treating your parents with respect and dignity, they see in turn how you would like your parent to be treated.
What impact does taking on the role of caregiver for one's parents have on your own life?
Often we're in the sandwich generation where we have our spouses and our children to take care of. We often have careers as well, and so it's trying to find that balance and having a communication with your spouse about what the expectation is and what your time commitment is going to be.
You mentioned 4 stages of caregiving. What are they?
You have the early stages, which is the stage, say, where my mom was at. They're starting to need some small helps. Then you have when your parents actually need more active care, where they're actually unable to do stuff. And then often your parents will move into a medical crisis stage where now you're really proactively involved. You're involved with the medical system and social services. And then of course the final stage where you're dealing with the fact that your parents have reached or are reaching that end stage of their life where you're going to lose them and you're going to deal with the funerals and that stage of dealing with the end of their life.
What would you say is the number one reason people take on the role of caregiver for their parents?
All of the caregivers seem to have come to the conclusion that if they had to do it all again, they would. They may have learned some lessons along the way and have done some different things, but they would all do it again out of love for their parents and the wanting to give back for what their parents gave to them.
We don't even think of it as a stage of life, but really caregiving for our parents is a journey that we go on with our parents, and if you recognize that as a journey, then you can have some personal growth through it as well. So it can be a life-altering, really, journey with them.
Thank you very much for this advice.
Well, thank you.
Thanks for having us.